I am in Western China, more specifically the Grand Bazaar in Urumqi. And it is around here that the Gushi lived in ancient times. Now, these were a nomadic people who eventually around 60 BC were invaded by the Han, and then the Xiongnu installed a puppet king. But they left behind some large cemeteries, and what's interesting is found in these cemeteries is a shaman with about 800 grams of weed. Now, this weed was prepared in such a way that it could only be used to get stoned with, as opposed to it being hemp and used for rope making. And he died 2,700 years ago, so 2,700 years ago people used to do weed. So I thought it'd be interesting to share a couple of the ancient civilizations that used to smoke marijuana. So cannabis, the word, comes from Scythia, and the Scythians used to have a shaman called Kapnabatai, which literally means those who walk on clouds. And Herodotus of ancient Greece said the Scythians take some hemp seed and, creeping under the felt coverings, throw it upon hot stones. Immediately it smokes and gives out such a vapour as no Greek vapour bath can exceed. The Scythians, delighted, shout for joy. And in southern Russia, a Scythian vessel was found to have traces of opium and weed, and it is believed that this mixture was drunk by the Scythians. Anyway, moving on, in the Viking Age, a woman died, and she was found to have 4 cannabis seeds in her purse. Well, 3 had fallen out of her purse, so 1 in her purse. But nobody really knows whether or not these seeds were used for hemp to make rope or for drugs, but there is some speculation that the Vikings did do marijuana. Also, back in China, there was a goddess named Ma Gu, who is essentially the goddess of hemp, but there's some dispute as to whether or not she is associated with marijuana as a drug. But marijuana is mentioned a lot in Chinese traditional medicine. For instance, in the Shennong Ban Kao Jing, over 5,000 years ago, they listed it as one of the noble herbs. And Li Sichuan in the 17th century also mentioned it. In fact, numerous cultures throughout history have listed marijuana as a medicinal herb. For instance, the ancient Egyptians said it was good for sore toes and fingers. It's also mentioned in Ottoman medicinal books, and in India it's of course featured quite a lot, but that's to be expected because it has played a pretty big role in the history of Hinduism.